Today in the NBA, there was a major trade between the New Orleans Pelicans and the Portland Trailblazers involving a swap of Cj McCollum to the New Orleans Pelicans and sending some young players. I believe it was Nickeil Alexander Walker, Josh Hart, Tomas, Satoransky to Portland. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a Pelicans fan, and this is not the move I wanted to see them make. They definitely needed to make a move, and it's a step in the right direction just by making a move to make the team better now. But they're starting to get into a situation where it's so similar to Anthony Davis, where you're going to end up losing the superstar, that superstar being Zion Williamson. It's similar to Anthony Davis in the fact that he's had health issues the way Anthony Davis had, and it's hard to see. And now you're just, I don't really like the situation you're getting in. You now have two dudes making about $30 million. CJ makes just over 30, and Brandon Ingram currently makes 29.4 million, and I'm pretty sure it's on a percentage where that's going to increase over the years, so it'll get over 30 in the future. And you got to pay Zion at some point because you need to keep him. And they've just been progressively making worse and worse moves. It started with trading away and not re-signing Lonzo Ball. He's been great for the Bulls this season, and it was just the front office kind of almost like kicked them out, and it made no sense to me. He's been great facilitating. He's picked up his jump shot where he can run point guard if you want him to, or he can stand there and catch and shoot and knock down a three when you need him to. And he was doing such a good job for them, and I have no idea where they let him go. They replaced him with Devontae Graham, who got ran out of town by the other ball brother, by LaMelo in Charlotte, and Terry Rozier, and they thought this guy was the answer. And that was just a waste of $11 million, in my opinion. They needed to get guards, and I guess this is a step in the right direction by getting McCollum. But you have two good players in Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, and you have no good guards until now to help them out. And you have Zion, a guy who's dominant in the paint, needs space. You need to surround Zion. He's similar to LeBron. You need to surround him with shooters so he has a lane to attack the basket and can do other things. And you go out and get another big that isn't a shooter. You get Jonas Valanciunas, who I like Jonas Valanciunas, and I thought that was a good trade with Memphis to swap Steven Adams, although I think Steven Adams is pretty good, but you got rid of some contracts. So step in the right direction there. But move Jonas. I like Jonas. I'm fine with him being on my team. But if Zion is there, it makes no sense. You run Zion and a center out there. Zion should be the center. Zion's athletic enough. Most teams in the league at this point are playing small ball. There's no dominant bigs. You need a bigs on your team to help counter a dominant big. But unless you have a dominant big, there's no point in starting. There's no point in running out a mid-level center that isn't dominant. You got Joel Embiid, you got Anthony Davis, you got Nikola Jokic, and besides that, Zion can really match up well with anybody. And even those guys, I'm still running him out there because I want to see what he can do, and I think he can handle it. For example, let's say they're playing the Rockets tonight. You got Christian Wood, who's an undersized center. There's no point in having Jonas Valanciunas out there if you have Zion out there. You have Zion at the 5, and you got 4 shooters around him. You could run a lineup with their potential roster, assuming Zion's healthy. You got Devontae Graham, Cj McCollum, those are your guards, and you got Brandon Ingram, and you got Herbert Jones, who came out of nowhere to be good because besides that, they'd be in a rough spot. That would not be a good fit at all. But in this trade, they do keep Jackson Hayes, who is that big, who's been progressing well, in my opinion. I've liked what I've seen from him so far. And so you got that. I'd try to move Jonas Valanciunas for a legit point guard. CJ can run the 2. See Jonas and Devontae Graham for the best point guard available. Personally, I would have loved to see them trade with Portland and get Dame. If you could have packaged it to get CJ as well, that would have been an elite combination right there. You just pretty much giving CJ and Dame Zion. They would probably had to move Brandon Ingram in that, but they have a decent amount of young people, and maybe it's still possible. Maybe they find a way to get Dame as well, but I would have rather to see them get Dame than CJ because I think they need a really elite guard to take them to the next level because they're not this is getting CJ is a move you make if you're the 76ers, a team that is a player or two away. 76ers are a player or two away because Ben Simmons not playing. Or if you're the Lakers who are struggling and find a way to move Russell Westbrook for CJ McCollum. Or if whatever team thinks they're one player away. The Pelicans are not one player away, and they're also not in a situation where they're looking to win a championship. All they got to look to do right now is build a better roster for when Zion is healthy, you give him good enough players to where he doesn't want to leave your city the same way Anthony Davis did. So you got to go out and get him someone younger, someone that's been around. CJ McCollum's 30. He's not a bad player at all, but he's had health issues the same way Zion has, and so has Brandon Ingram. And you're looking at a window, and basically Cj McCollum does not extend your window at all. He helps you out right now, and it's not a bad trade. It's a good trade, but it's not the right trade, and that's what they've been doing. They make moves, but it's not the right move. Like it doesn't make sense to me. They need a really good guard to go with the two wings and big they have. If you want to call Zion a big, whatever you want to call it. Like they've got some good pieces that they can go get someone good, and I would have much rather them use them on if James Harden was available for a trade, if Damian Lillard's available, someone like that, or you wait, or maybe you go get draft picks. But you have two. Zion will call it elite, but Brandon Ingram's like right in that second category. It's like All Star game, not All Star game, but he's a really good scorer. So you have a really good scorer with a really good defender at Zion Williamson. So you have things semi figured out there, and you go and get someone that's just another player. Like everybody's trying to build a super team, and you're just compiling players around a really good player, and that doesn't work out. That's what so many teams have done so many times, and it's like they want to be content with getting the 5 seed, which would be a lot for the Pelicans because they've been so bad for so long and nowhere close. But that's what it seems like. They just want to make the playoffs to be like, that's good. Look at us, we made the playoffs, and they never want to get to a point where they're dominant. And that's what you got to strive for. You got to strive to be dominant. And getting Cj McCollum is not heading that right direction. It helps them now. It helps you make the playoffs this year, but it doesn't really help since you send a protected first round pick to Portland for that trade. But we'll see what they do in the offseason to make some more moves. They've been holding on to prospect like younger guys too long, in my opinion. I'd like to see them. I'm kind of glad they got rid of Nickeil Alexander Walker, another guy I like to watch play, but they just held on to him and expected him to develop a lot for no reason. They got to make the move. They have lots of draft picks from trades, the Drew Holiday trade, the Anthony Davis trade. They've got picks. They get some picks from the Steven Adams, the Jonas Valanciunas swap. They've got players to make moves. They got to go out and get an elite guard. I don't think CJ McCollum is that guy. I'd love to see them get rid of in this offseason, or they still have time for the deadline. Go find a way to get an elite guard and make sure Zion's not leaving, because now you have a big three that is locked into this franchise. Give them the contracts, whatever. Make it so you get an elite guard to pair with Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson where they're not leaving. I would have loved to see it be Lonzo, and then you surround him with better and better role players and build a really good bench. But they let that go out the window. That would have been your young core to build with. But now you almost gotta scramble to make sure you can please Zion, because it's not going the way you want it to, especially with the Knicks not going the way they want to. Zion seeing his Duke teammates getting together, like he's gonna want to leave, and you got to make sure he stays. And I don't think this trade does enough to solidify that Zion wants to be in New Orleans. And I think they got to do it because you have a once in a generation talent in Zion. Pending he stays healthy, let's all hope for his health. But I'm not a fan. Although I like CJ McCollum, and I'm glad they made this trade, I think the Pelicans need to do more, and this isn't enough. Let me know what you guys think.